Auntie Precious was the kind of woman who believed that every problem in life could be solved with the right cream. Mosquito bite, cream. Heartbreak, cream. Unemployment, well, maybe a different kind of cream, but cream nonetheless. So when her younger cousin, Ngozi, announced at the family WhatsApp group that she'd been rejected for the 5th time at a job interview, Auntie Precious knew exactly what the problem was. "It's your complexion, my dear," she typed, adding 7 crying laughing emojis for emphasis. "In this Lagos, you need to glow like Beyoncé's left buttock if you want to succeed." Ngozi, sitting in her one-room apartment in Surulere, stared at her phone screen with the kind of exhaustion that came from being a 26-year-old graduate with a first-class degree in economics and 0 job offers. Her dark skin had never been a problem before. In fact, her late grandmother used to call her Ochichiri Marama, beautiful darkness. But Auntie Precious was persistent. Within minutes, she'd sent a voice note that lasted 7 minutes and 43 seconds, detailing the miraculous transformation of one sister, Blessing, who had bleached her skin and immediately married a man with 3 cars and a duplex in Lekki Phase 1. Even her mother-in-law respects her now. Auntie Precious's voice crackled through the phone. "The woman even calls her my daughter, my jewel, my light-skinned princess." Ngozi's best friend, Chioma, who had visited and had heard the entire voice note, rolled her eyes so hard they nearly completed a full rotation. "Ngozi, please don't listen to that woman. She's the same person who told you to drink bitterleaf juice mixed with groundnut oil to attract a husband." "That was different," Ngozi muttered, though she remembered the 3 days of stomach upset that followed that particular advice. But the seed had been planted. Over the next few weeks, everywhere Ngozi looked, she saw evidence of what Auntie Precious had preached. The girl who got hired at the bank, light-skinned. The influencer with 200,000 followers, light-skinned. Even the woman who sold akara at the junction had suddenly become yellow like pawpaw and had upgraded from a wooden bench to a proper table with an umbrella. "It's a sign," Ngozi whispered to herself one evening, scrolling through Instagram and seeing yet another before and after transformation photo. Chioma tried to intervene. "Ngozi, God's photos are edited. Nobody's skin actually changes from Wesley Snipes to Regina Daniels in 2 weeks." But Ngozi had made up her mind. She'd scraped together 45,000 naira, her last savings, and purchased something called Divine Radiance Illuminating Complex from a woman named Madam Gold, who operated from a shop in Yaba Market that was smaller than Ngozi's bathroom. "This one has special formula," Madam Gold had said, her own skin the color of uncooked chicken and stretched so tight across her face that she looked perpetually surprised. 3 weeks, you go yellow finish. Even your ancestors go need sunglasses to look at you. The cream came in an unlabeled container that smelled like a mixture of chemicals, hope, and poor life choices. Ngozi started applying it religiously, morning and night. She even set alarms so she wouldn't forget. Chioma watched with increasing concern as her friends slathered the suspicious concoction all over her body. "If you wake up looking like a Dorito, don't call me," Chioma warned. "You are just jealous," Ngozi retorted, though even she didn't sound convinced. The first week passed with no visible changes except for a slight tingling sensation that Ngozi convinced herself was the cream working its magic. The second week, she noticed her skin getting lighter, just a shade, but enough to make her squeal with excitement and send a video to Auntie Precious, who responded with 15 fire emojis and a message saying, I knew it, you're going to be stunning." By the 3rd week, Ngozi had indeed transformed, but not in the way anyone expected. She woke up one Thursday morning to discover that her skin had turned a bright, unmistakable shade of orange. Not a subtle tangerine, not a gentle apricot. No, this was the aggressive orange of a Lagos Danfo boss. The orange of traffic cones, the orange that screamed, "Caution, hazard ahead." Ngozi stared at herself in the mirror and screamed so loudly that her neighbor, Mr. Adeyemi, came banging on her door asking if armed robbers had broken in. "It's worse than armed robbers," Ngozi wailed, opening the door. Mr. Adeyemi took one look at her and jumped back so fast he nearly fell down the stairs. "Ah, ghost," he shouted. "I'm not a ghost, I am orange." That's what a ghost would say. Ngozi's best friend, Chioma, arrived within an hour, took one look at Ngozi and burst out laughing. She laughed so hard she had to sit down on the floor. She laughed until tears streamed down her face. She laughed until she couldn't breathe. "I'm sorry," she gasped between fits of laughter. "But you look like Fanta came to life." "It's not funny," Ngozi cried, but even she could see the absurdity of the situation. She looked like a giant orange highlighter, like a traffic cone with hair, like someone had dipped her in orange paint and forgotten to rinse. "Madam Gold said 3 weeks," Ngozi sobbed. "She didn't say I turned into a fruit." Chioma finally composed herself enough to think practically. Okay, we need to fix this. Maybe if we wash it off. They tried everything, regular soap, detergent, sponge, even Omo washing powder, which Chioma swore her aunt had used once to remove a stubborn cream situation. Nothing worked. If anything, the scrubbing made Ngozi's skin even brighter, like they were polishing her into a high-gloss orange finish. I can't go outside like this, Ngozi moaned. I look like I'm about to direct traffic. Or sell oranges, Chioma added helpfully. Not helping. But Ngozi had to go outside. She had a final interview scheduled for the next day, a job she'd been chasing for months at a prestigious oil company. This was her last chance. That night, she barely slept. She tried covering herself with foundation, but it only made things worse. Now she looked like an orange wearing makeup. She tried wrapping herself in long sleeves and a scarf, but it was Lagos, and the heat made her look like an orange having a heat stroke. Finally, she decided to embrace it, sort of. She'd wear her best outfit, walking with confidence and hope that her qualifications would speak louder than her skin color. The next morning, as she walked to the bus stop, she noticed something strange. People were staring, yes, but not with disgust or mockery. They were staring with curiosity. Some were even smiling. "Auntie, nice color," a young girl called out. "Is it a new trend?" An old woman selling vegetables nodded approvingly. "In my day, we would have paid good money for skin like that. Very unique." Ngozi arrived at the company, a glimmering glass building in Victoria Island that made her feel small and orange and completely out of place. She gave her name at reception and the receptionist's eyes widened. "Oh, you are the orange lady." "Excuse me? Sorry, I mean, we've been seeing your photos all over social media. You're trending." Ngozi's heart sank. Trending? The receptionist turned her computer screen around. There on Twitter, Instagram, and even Facebook were photos of Ngozi walking to the interview. Someone had captured her striding down the street in her sharp blazer and pencil skirt, her orange skin glowing in the morning sunlight, looking determined and completely unbothered. The caption read, "This woman turned herself orange and still showing up for her interview. That's the kind of confidence we need in 2024. Hashtag orange lady, hashtag unbothered, hashtag body positivity, hashtag Lagos." The post had gone viral. Thousands of retweets, hundreds of thousands of likes, comments pouring in from all over Nigeria and beyond. She said, "Bleaching cream, do your worst. I still have bills to pay." The confidence, the audacity, the orange. If orange lady can go for an interview, I can finish my thesis. My role model right here. Ngozi stood frozen, watching as more and more comments flooded in. Some were making jokes, yes, but most were genuinely inspired. People were calling her brave, fearless, a symbol of resilience in the face of adversity. The CEO of the company, Mr. Okonkwo, personally came down to the reception area. He was a large man with a bigger smile. "Miss Ngozi, the orange lady herself, please come to my office." Ngozi followed him, her orange skin burning with embarrassment, expecting the worst. "I'll be honest with you," Mr. Okonkwo said once they were seated. "When I saw your application, it was good, very good. First-class honors, impressive recommendations, but we had many qualified candidates." Ngozi's heart sank. But then, he continued, leaning forward, "I saw you trending this morning. I saw someone who made a mistake. And yes, I'm guessing that orange was not intentional." "It was not," Ngozi confirmed quietly. "But instead of hiding, instead of calling in sick, instead of giving up, you showed up. You put on your best clothes, held your head high, and faced the world. That's the kind of person I want in my company." Ngozi couldn't believe what she was hearing. "The job is yours," Mr. Okonkwo said, "if you want it." "If I want it, sir, I would take this job if I turn purple tomorrow." Mr. Okonkwo laughed. "Let's hope it doesn't come to that. But there's one more thing. Our marketing department has a proposal for you." 30 minutes later, Ngozi found herself in a meeting with the entire marketing team. They wanted to launch a campaign about workplace confidence and showing up as your authentic self. With Ngozi as the face of it, we'll call it Own Your Color. The marketing director explained excitedly. "It's about being confident in who you are, regardless of what society expects. And well, you're already orange, so you're quite literally owning your color." Ngozi wasn't sure whether to laugh or cry, so she did both. By the time she left the building 3 hours later, she had a job contract, a modeling contract for the marketing campaign, and enough compensation to cover both her rent for 6 months and whatever dermatologist would eventually help her return to her natural dark skin tone. Chioma was waiting outside, having tracked Ngozi's every move through the viral hashtag, Orange Lady. "So," Chioma asked anxiously. "I got the job," Ngozi said, still in disbelief. "What? And a modeling contract? What? And I'm trending across 3 countries." Chioma grabbed her friend and hugged her so tight that for a moment, Ngozi's orange skin turned slightly red from the pressure. "Only you can bleach yourself into unemployment and end up with a better job than you applied for," Chioma laughed. The story spread even further. News outlets picked it up. Orange Lady lands dream job after bleaching mishap goes viral. Think pieces were written about society's beauty standards and the courage to show up despite mistakes. Ngozi was invited to speak at universities about resilience and self-acceptance. The most unexpected development came 2 weeks later when Madam Gold from Yaba Market showed up at Ngozi's doorstep, sweating profusely and looking terrified. "Please, ma, I beg you in the name of God," Madam Gold wailed dramatically, falling to her knees. "Don't sue me. I will give you full refund. I will even add extra 20,000. Ngozi stared at the woman who had sold her the cursed cream. Part of her wanted to be angry, but another part, the part that had gained 50,000 Instagram followers and a job that paid 3 times what she was expecting, felt something else entirely. Madam Gold, Ngozi said calmly, "Stand up. I'm not going to sue you." The woman looked up hopefully. "You are not?" "No, but you are going to do something for me." "Anything. I will do anything." "You're going to help me create a proper skincare line, one that's safe, one that's certified, one that doesn't turn people into citrus fruits." Madam Gold blinked. "Me?"
You clearly know something about creams, even if you got this one spectacularly wrong. Work with me. We'll get proper dermatologists involved, proper testing, proper everything. I will call it True Colors. And that's exactly what they did. 6 months later, Ngozi stood in her new office, not orange anymore, thanks to an expensive dermatologist and 3 months of treatment that slowly faded her back to her natural, beautiful dark skin, looking at the first shipment of True Color skincare products. The tagline on every bottle read, "Love the skin you're in. Don't become a citrus fruit." Auntie Precious, of course, took full credit for everything. "I told you," she announced at the next family gathering, her voice loud enough to wake the ancestors. "I told Ngozi to do something about her skin, and look at her now, CEO of her own skincare company. It was my idea all along." Everyone at the party turned to look at Ngozi, who just smiled and sipped her Chapman. She'd learned that some battles weren't worth fighting, especially not with Auntie Precious, who was now trying to convince Ngozi's younger brother that growing dreadlocks would give him supernatural business powers. Chioma sidled up to Ngozi with a plate of jollof rice. "You know what the funny thing is?" "What?" "You got everything you wanted. The job, the success, the confidence. But it only happened after you stopped trying to be someone else." Ngozi looked down at her arms, dark and beautiful and exactly as they were meant to be. "You know what the even funnier thing is?" "What?" "I'm making millions now selling products that help people appreciate their natural skin, all because I tried to change mine and temporarily became a traffic cone." They both burst out laughing, the sound mixing with the music and chatter of the party around them. Across the room, a young girl approached Ngozi shyly. "Excuse me, ma, are you the orange lady?" Ngozi smiled. "I used to be. Now I'm just Ngozi. Your story made me stop bleaching my own skin. I was starting to peel and everything." "Good," Ngozi said firmly. "Your skin is perfect as it is. But what if I can't get a job because I'm too dark?" Ngozi knelt down to the girl's level. "Then that's not a job worth having. Trust me, I know. The right opportunities will come when you're being yourself, even if being yourself temporarily means looking like a traffic cone." The girl giggled and ran off to join her friends. Later that night, Ngozi lay in her new apartment, a 1-bedroom in a nice part of Lekki that she could actually afford now. She scrolled through her phone. There was a message from Mr. Okonko. "Saw your interview in Vanguard. Proud of how far you have come. The company's stock went up again thanks to the Own Your Color campaign. Thank you for being orange that day." Ngozi laughed and typed back, "Thank you for seeing past the orange." She set her phone down and looked at herself in the mirror across the room. Her skin was clear, dark, glowing with health and happiness. She thought about Auntie Precious's advice, about Madame Gold's terrible cream, about that morning when she'd woken up looking like a citrus fruit and had to choose between hiding and showing up. She showed up, and somehow that had made all the difference. Her phone buzzed again. It was Chioma. "Just saw someone on TikTok who bleached themselves purple. Want to start a support group?" Ngozi typed back, "Only if we call it accidentally rainbow." "Deal. You are bringing the jollof." "Always." Ngozi smiled, turned off her phone and went to sleep. Tomorrow, she had a meeting with investors who wanted to expand True Colors into Ghana and South Africa. The week after that, she was speaking at a conference about entrepreneurship and learning from mistakes. The week after that, Auntie Precious wanted her to attend another family party where she would undoubtedly take credit for everything again. Life was good. Life was funny. Life was full of unexpected orange moments that somehow turned into golden opportunities. And to think it had all started with a dubious cream from a woman named Madame Good and the belief that she needed to change who she was to succeed. Instead, she'd succeeded by being exactly who she was, even when who she was temporarily meant being the same color as a Lagos Danfo bus. As she drifted off to sleep, Ngozi's last thought was, at least I made a good traffic cone. And somewhere in Yabo Market, Madame Gold was closing up her shop, muttering to herself, next time I test the cream on myself first, or maybe I just sell regular face powder, much less wahala. 3 years later, True Color Skincare had become one of the fastest growing beauty companies in West Africa. Ngozi had been featured in Forbes Africa, spoken at TEDx Lagos, and become a millionaire, all while maintaining her natural dark skin and encouraging others to love theirs. Auntie Precious still took credit for everything. Madame Gold now had a proper shop with a sign and everything, selling only certified, tested, non-orange inducing products. And Chioma, she became the COO of True Colors because every CEO needs a best friend who will tell them the truth, even when that truth is, girl, you look like Fanta. Especially when that truth is, girl, you look like Fanta.